got hair. That's our old faithful.
What's up, Zimmer? Rob Zimmer.
You can eat. Sure.
Okay, so we'll get started in a minute. Wait for a couple people to join. Hey, cousin Nadra.
Hello.
All right, so we will go ahead and get started.
Rob.
Really?
He's talking about you, I guess.
Maybe I said something. I did something that sounded like it was stuck in my teeth. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 6 o'clock. So for those of you who don't know who we are,
I'm Nydia.
and I'm Julian, and we are
All in the family.
and All in the Family is we're a channel that we started basically showing our story, sharing our story from being teenage parents to where we are now, and hopefully to inspire some people who are watching the channel. So anything else you want to add?
No. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. So we thank you guys for taking time out of your evening to join and listen to our spill today. And today we're going to talk about how we pretty much eat almost what we want and we still stay pretty lean. And I'm pretty sure if you guys follow me on Facebook, you see me posting all kinds of desserts and other types of meals. And living down in Maryland, there's tons of places that Hey Jen, hey Sophia. So there's tons of places in, hey Gilda.
Hey, Gilda.
So there's tons of places in Maryland to eat, and I didn't know that was gonna be a problem until I moved down here and started finding all these places. Actually, when she moved down here, because when I was down here by myself, I didn't really go to too many places, but somehow I was putting on pounds, and she kind of hinted when I came home one weekend that, hey Kelly, that she kind of hinted at that I was putting on some weight by slapping my love handles, and I was a little embarrassed about it. So we're gonna get into the journey. So do you want to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead.
So a little bit about, I guess we can start with why we wanted to do this. And of course for me, like most women, I just wanted to lose weight. Over the years, you know, you notice that you gain weight, and so you want to do something to lose weight. But also, as far as like family history, on my dad's side, my dad, they have, on my dad's side of the family, they have a lot of high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart attacks. My grandma has a pacemaker. So, you know, just to be able to get healthy, and you want to look your best, and, you know, you want to be here for your family. You know, we have 3 kids. So, we also encourage them to do exercises with us and go to the gym and all of that. So that's kind of like why we started. I mean, going back, I always thought I was overweight, I guess, back to elementary school. So we'll get into different things that we've tried, I guess, before we got to intermittent fasting.
So she's saying why she started. I'm pretty sure you guys have been watching some of the previous Facebook Lives. So I got started because I think I mentioned that I was a stripper for a small point in time. So I got started because being a stripper was on the horizon for me, and
it wasn't on the horizon
I'm only kidding.
for you.
I'm only kidding. What? You didn't know that? Anyway.
It was 2 minutes.
Anyway. You know, pretty much like she said, you know, if you guys watch some of the previous Facebook Lives, you guys know that I had a blood clot in my leg that almost took my life, and that was an eye opener for me. So one thing I knew at that point, I wasn't doing any type of working out. I was eating anything that I wanted, and I always knew in the back of my mind that my bloodline, my family bloodline, we have like a lot of cancer, we have heart attacks, so our blood is not the most pure, the most cleanest. So in my small mind, I started thinking if I can get my blood going and have my heart filter some of my bad blood, then it'll come out clean on the other side. I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of what got me started. So it was that brush with death that kind of got me started. And then on top of that, I started getting into men's health. I started ordering men's health magazines. You remember those coming to the house? And seeing some of those guys and saying, you know, wow, I wouldn't mind looking like those guys. And of course, when I started working in corporate America, you want your clothes to fit a certain way. You want to look a certain way. You know, it's a lot about the presentation in corporate America. So, you know, it was something that I had to do to definitely slim down. So, hey Sheila, hey cousin Patricia, just shouting you guys out. So, anything else you want to add? No. So maybe you can start with your journey. Tell them all the things that you remember trying and how long ago before you got to where you are now.
So, I think thinking back, way back, probably after I had Chelis before my prom, I tried to do the stepper. I'm taking us back a while here, ladies. I did the stepper for a little bit. I tried that. Probably a long time. I didn't exercise. Don't come from a family that exercises much. I'm probably one of 4 people who exercise in my family, but I tried the track. I tried doing the 3-day military diet at one time. At work, a lot of us were doing it.
Atkins? Did you try Atkins?
No, I didn't try Atkins. Gilda used to do Atkins though.
South Beach?
Or was it South Beach? But I know all about those diets. We went to the gym. I had a trainer for a little bit. We've done Taebo. We've done, what were the ones? Beachbody, P90X.
And P90, yeah, both programs.
Okay. I went the pill route one time. When we came down here, we did Body for Life.
Yeah, Body for Life.
A little bit.
Body for Life is a program by a guy named Bill Phillips, and I bumped into Body for Life through a guy on YouTube. He's a YouTuber. His name is Brandon Carter, and he was, you know, and if you guys ever seen Brandon Carter, if you guys know who Brandon Carter is, he's a guy who he does a lot of fitness videos, and he's really cut up, and he to me he almost has like the ideal body. So me looking at for the ideal workout and the ideal diet, I have to find what somebody looks like in order for me to pattern myself after that person. So I was watching Brandon, and one day Brandon was just like, well, you know, you guys got to read Bill Phillips' Body for Life, and I'm going to tell you that book for me was pretty much life changing. So and then
I would agree. I think the Body for Life book helped to see why everything else before that didn't work, because we never changed our diet. It was, we just ate what we wanted to. We were like, hey, we're going to the gym, you know, I could just eat whatever I want. And Body for Life introduced a lot of, I guess, different ways of eating, or how to curtail your eating, and it also incorporated a cheat day, right?
Yeah.
So
and the cheat day helps keep your sanity. So
right.
cheat days are very important. So if you're doing any type of diet or structured meal programs or whatever, I feel, my personal feelings is that you got to have your cheat day to maintain your sanity, because if you're too strict on your diet, then chances are, or whatever meal program you're following, chances are you're going to fall off, because and once you fall off and you go back to like, so suppose you don't have, if you like chocolate, you don't have chocolate for like a month or two, and then a month later you have chocolate, it's just going to be like a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? You're going to start binging on it, and you're not going to go back to where you came from. And if you do try to go back to where you came from, it's going to be very tough. So you got to have your cheat day for the sake of sanity, and I highly recommend a cheat day, and I think that helped us get through dieting. And Body for Life was a diet plan, whereas what we do now is not a diet plan, it's an eating pattern, which is slightly different, and we'll get into that.
Hi, Marisol. So when we first came down here, we did Body for Life, right? We followed it for 90 days.
90 days.
And it did help.
It did help.
We did exercise. We, changed our eating. But around that time, I found I ended up getting sick. So I was back and forth to Connecticut and Maryland. So we kind of slipped up. And then we started. You want to get into that yet? When we started the intermittent fasting?
You want to talk about the results from Body for Life? What were your results like? How many pounds? Do you remember how many pounds you lost? No. I
don't.
Okay, so I think I lost. I think I lost about maybe 15 pounds on Body for Life, and I was able to start seeing my abs. So, like I mentioned earlier, I started kind of working out when I was in corporate America, and one thing that I didn't do much of was cardio, because I never liked cardio. Cardio seemed like people were on the treadmill for hours, and that's just something that I'm not into the marathon. I was more into the sprint, so I didn't do much cardio until I started doing Body for Life. And doing Body for Life, I started seeing somewhat of my abs, but I didn't see that my abs the way that I wanted to, which is if you guys have seen me on my Facebook page, my before and afters, you can see that my abs are more defined now, keeping in mind that, I'm much older now. So that's another thing that we need to touch on, is that there's a lot of people who claim that the older you get, your metabolism slows down. And I disagree with that, because we're older, and it seems like, the metabolism does what it needs to do. And from my situation, I pretty much look back at how I was eating when I was smaller, and like in high school and junior high school, and come to find out the way that we're doing today is pretty much the same situation. So I'm getting pretty much the same results as what I was getting in high school, versus me trying to follow like a specific diet, if you will, right? Would you agree?
I think I was able to eat a lot crazier when I was younger, maybe high school age, but once I had Shellis, I couldn't eat probably what I wanted to. I did, but it didn't help with losing weight.
Yeah, and one of the things that that's big is when we were in Connecticut, there were a lot of people who would try to convince me that I looked great when I didn't. I kind of knew that I could look better, considering that I was working out. And at the end of the day, with all due respect to the people that were around me, I probably looked good compared to others, but I didn't look good as I knew I could look. Like I said, I couldn't see any abs. I kind of knew I had those love handles, but they just got a little bit worse when I came down here. So and down here, one thing about down here is there's a lot of happy hour spots. So when you hit the happy hour spots, you got to pay the price to for the drinking, and a lot of donut spots. so you got to pay the price for that. So anything else?
No, I'll say I lost about, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds. I don't think we were like this last time. We wrote everything down and we were weighing ourselves. When we did Body for Life, I don't remember.
We took pictures.
We did.
We did before and after pictures. And that was another thing. It's like taking pictures and seeing what you look like from the start and then seeing what you look like along the way. That makes a big difference too. And once you get into learning about like fitness and all of that stuff, you start figuring out that it really comes down to somewhat of a numbers game. And like, I'm not into counting calories, I'm not into counting macros and whatever else goes into like a keto diet. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. But what I am into is this thing called the Adonis Index. So the Adonis Index is when you compare the circumference of your shoulders, the radius of your shoulders, compared to your waist size. So the ideal situation is for a guy to, even women, to get that V taper, but women would want to get that hourglass body, right? So, but the guys want that V taper, and that V taper is created from what they call the Adonis Index. And at the end of the day, you know, everything is like a numbers game. Because even if you get plastic surgery, when you go to get plastic surgery, you want to get like the ideal face. They do that with a ruler, and they know like the ideal situation, like how far apart your eyes are is based on certain numbers, and like how wide your head is. All of that is based on certain numbers. So those numbers also apply in the fitness game. So, you know, when you're trying to get your ideal body shape, you got to kind of understand, you know, things like the Adonis Index and how to get there, and what body parts you have to work on to increase, and how to decrease other parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I just didn't want to lose too much weight in my lower section.
Right.
Just in my stomach, my muffin top.
Okay. Hey Denise. So one thing about what we're doing now. So what we're doing now is and we bumped into it by accident. So we do two things. We do intermittent fasting, and we do HIIT cardio, which is high intensity interval cardio. I bumped into high intensity interval cardio by accident. So I was watching YouTube. Some of the stuff came from YouTube and educating myself. I was watching this guy, his fitness channel is called Bartell Fitness, and he was showing how on the elliptical machine, he likes to do what he calls like an interval training mode. And I did that before she moved down, shortly after she was picking on my love handles, and I saw that my love handles went away in a short period of time somehow. So I figured if I would incorporate that into anything else that I do, that at least I should be able to keep the love handles down. And come to find out, when we started reading Body for Life mentioned HIIT cardio. So there's something to be said about HIIT cardio if you're doing HIIT cardio. If you're not familiar with HIIT cardio is normally no more than 20 minutes. So you could get HIIT cardio done in 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. So when we get ready for vacation, I'll start doing 20 minutes of HIIT cardio max. Like I said, I don't want to be on the treadmill for hours, and it works for me pretty well.
And you should do it every other day.
Every other day, maximum of an hour.
Right, an hour per week.
Maximum of an hour per week. So because HIIT also can play with it can mess around with your nervous system. So you have to be a little bit careful with HIIT. So anything else you want to add?
No, so we could so usually what happens is you can set your elliptical to how much time you want to do for interval. So if it's like 15 minutes, it'll give you a little warm up. This is how ours works. And then for 30 seconds, you go as fast as you can on the elliptical. And then for a minute, you do like a regular speed. And then it keeps going back and forth like that. Yeah.
And just to add, the benefits of HIIT cardio and intermittent fasting, from what I saw, because they usually say that when you're trying to lose weight, you can't do what they call spot loss. So immediately when you're trying to lose weight, everybody is trying to aim at that midsection, right? So most diets, when you start your diet, it's not going to hit that midsection. But when you do intermittent fasting, which is an eating pattern and not a diet, it starts to kind of in the midsection. Did it start in the midsection for you? Pretty much. So it'll start in the midsection, and then You gotta exercise, Gilda.
I don't like exercising either, Gilda. And that hit, when you first start, don't start 20 minutes.
Yeah, start
like
with
10 minutes.
Start with the 10 minutes.
And then slowly increase.
But again, Gilda, between the HIIT and the Body for Life, you're only talking, like, even when you do weight exercises, the maximum of 45 minutes to an hour of exercising versus hours and hours of exercising. So when we go to the gym, we'll jump on the arc trainer, because that's our yeah, it is good for mental clarity. So the arc trainer is my machine of choice. And when we jump on an arc trainer, we're in and out of the gym in pretty much no time. So everybody's trying to figure out what the hell did we do. Seems like we didn't do anything, but we still kind of look good overall. Whereas a lot of people are still doing steady state and they're on the machine for hours. And so they're not really understanding the benefits of HIIT cardio because they probably haven't studied it. But I can tell you from my experience, and I guess from her experience, HIIT cardio is a wonder exercise. It's like a wonder drug. That's between HIIT cardio and intermittent fasting. My opinion is that's the wonder drug for weight loss. Part of it is because it's more sustainable. Would you agree? Than most other diets. So it's something that you can keep up all the time. So do you want to explain intermittent fasting for those who don't understand?
So intermittent fasting is when you eat for a certain window out of your day. So there's different ways to do it. Like I do 16 and 8. So I fast for 16 hours and then I eat for 8 hours. And I'm not eating the whole 8 hours, but that's your window that you can eat. Some people they fast for 20 hours and they eat for 4 hours. Some people do 1 meal a day. So they fast for 20 hours and they eat
just once.
23 hours and they eat just once a day. Which we have tried that here and there. But basically you pick a certain time, and sometimes people, like, there's been some people at work that have done it and they weren't able to last the 16 hours. So some people fast 12 hours and then the other 12 hours they eat. So it's basically just trying to cut your eating time, by some hours out of the day. Because most of the time we would probably eat from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, I guess.
Well, especially with Body for Life, because Body for Life was a 6 to 8 meal a day. Eating Body for Life is eating every 2 hours, every 2 to 3 hours, because the philosophy in the Body for Life is if you eat like a horse, you could be as lean as a horse. So horses eat all day, and if you ever see a horses are pretty lean. But again, like I said earlier, I started seeing my abs, but I couldn't see them defined like I see them now. So
yeah. And while you're in the fasting period, so if you're reading up on it on the internet, you'll see a lot of people say, what can you drink, I guess, during your fasting period. So basically a lot of people will just tell you just water, black tea, black coffee. Other people will say they drink their coffee with cream and sugar, but technically I guess it's not supposed to be over 50 calories, because anything over 50 calories starts, I guess, I don't know, your digestive system or something.
Glucose.
Yeah.
It's the glucose.
So my recommendation is you just drink water or black coffee or black tea in the fasting period. Once your time comes up, like I eat from 10 to 6. Once 10 o'clock rolls around, I'm drinking my coffee.
Right. And because a lot of people probably are not disciplined with their eating and not used to eating during a certain time frame, like when you start the program, you initially start out with getting some hunger pains. And the way to get past those hunger pains until your body figures out what you're doing is pretty much water or like a black coffee.
Or black tea.
Or black Yeah, but that's the way to get past it. Is like sometimes your body thinks that it needs food, but it actually needs like liquid and water, because the body is more than 75% water. So once you replenish with water, you'll be fine to get by it. You get by those hunger pains. So, hey, Carmel.
And there's also different ways to do it. Like some people say they do it 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. So if you're starting off and you want to try it, I just went cold turkey and did it every day except Saturday. That's our cheat day. But you might want to try every other day to start off to see how you feel or how it goes. If you feel like that for one particular day you're not able to do it because you're so hungry, you can eat and then the next day you need to try it again.
Yeah, you can. That's one thing about
don't
these
faint
plans.
Because you're not eating, or you feel like you can't make it but you're trying to get there. Just I guess cut your eating or cut your fasting window.
Cut your fasting window, and you have to be careful if you're like a diabetic. I know some cases say that it helps people that have like diabetes, but I don't know if that's true, because even though diabetes is in my family, I haven't gotten to the point that I've actually tested that to the max to see if that's how it works. But I can tell you that like with these meal plans and the exercising, the reason why I went down to a 29-inch waist is because I was really trying to push it and try to reach that Adonis index.
Hi, Annie.
Hey, Annie.
So, no, when you cut your feeding window, like mine is 10 to 6, the premise is that you're skipping one of your meals. So I'm skipping breakfast. At 10 o'clock, I kind of go straight to like a lunch type of phase. So, if you're out there eating Burger King and Chick-fil-A and fast food, then you may not cut your calories if you're doing that every day.
All day, every day. Right.
But I don't usually count my calories or my carbs.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of intermittent fasting is, like I mentioned earlier, I don't count macros or micros or whatever that people are counting. I just kind of stay within that window, and if I'm getting ready to go for a vacation or something, and and I'm not looking the way that I want to look, then I'll just start pushing it just a little bit. Do it hour by hour and say, okay, well, if I'm doing 16-8, then I might start doing an 18-6 pattern, and then come the weekend, I might do one meal a day, and on that one meal a day, that's going to be a hell of a cheat meal for me. So what that means is I will eat like a pig for that one meal. I will eat anything and everything that I want. I will drink anything and everything that I want. And I will get on the scale the next day and still lose a couple pounds. That's just how it works like wonders. And then, so between the intermittent fasting and the HIIT cardio, it's like a magic, those sort of magic pills. Anything else you want to add?
So I wouldn't say I count calories or carbs, but like Julian's saying, when we get kind of close to that vacation time, I do cut back. I cut back on carbs. So I try not to do the white rice. I try not to do the bread. I try not to do, chips or anything that's a carb. I won't eat it. I'll strictly stick to meat, vegetables, salad, eggs. I think that's usually my go-to. I eat a lot of eggs just because it's easy. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it, a lot of boiled eggs, but you can make it however you want. Omelets.
Yeah. And for the guys watching, just so you guys know that the yolk of the egg was getting a bad rap for a while, but I'm going to tell you guys, if for the guys that are watching, the men that are watching, the yolk of the egg helps with your testosterone. So women can ditch it. I highly suggest for guys to eat that, and I think there's more benefits in it than they say, it's going to mess with your cholesterol. I'd rather have slightly higher cholesterol than low testosterone, because that's just how it is. Especially going to the gym, you need that testosterone when you get to the gym. So.
Hi, Kimmy.
Anything?
No, I think that's.
Okay, so what we don't do, and one thing we don't do is we don't do fad diets, as you guys probably can tell. We do intermittent fasting. We've been doing intermittent fasting for just about a complete year, but the results that we got, it seems like we was doing it for a year, probably within 6 months, because it happens that fast. You guys can go on YouTube and see some of the videos that people, or other testimonies that people are having in their videos, or the results that they're getting. And we are also testimonies to intermittent fasting working. And if you go look up HIIT cardio, you'll see testimonies on that. So again, you're combining the two, and you're creating like this wonder drug for weight loss. And and like I said, for intermittent fasting, it's going to help spot with your spot loss. So if you're trying to shoot for that midsection, then these are the wonder drugs that you want to incorporate into your eating pattern or lifestyle, if you will. And it does become a lifestyle because it's so easy. For the most part, it's so easy. So all you have to do is look at your clock and say, oh, it's time to eat. You eat whatever you have in your desk. You don't have to sacrifice too much, unless you're one of the people who eat McDonald's or Burger King all day, every day.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that a common sense person would not do that, right?
Would try to cut back. I mean, you'll see videos if you search YouTube. People say they eat whatever they want and they still lose weight. So I guess it's just a case by case scenario. You have to try it and see what works for you.
Right.
Like I say, Julian used to do 1 meal a day, I think a few days a week.
Just on the weekend.
But I couldn't do it. I tried a few times, but come 10 o'clock, I had to eat.
Right. So, one thing too that we don't do is we don't do group exercises. So, and the reason why we don't do group exercises is because in order to push her to her limits in exercising, she can't be in a group with other people slowing her down mentally. It's a mental thing. And in order to push me to my limits, I can't be in a group with a bunch of people slowing me down. However, we have had arguments about me trying to push her beyond her limits. I mean, and get her out of her comfort zone when it comes to, I'm pretty sure you remember those arguments. So
who likes to do cardio? I don't like to do cardio.
But
so you're pushing me. I felt like it was beyond my limits, but once you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Okay, so Cousin Patricia, the answer to your question about the protein shakes and the supplements is she used to do vitamins, she used to do supplements. I tried doing some GNC Megamen, was it like Megamen?
Something.
And you gotta have the budget for that stuff. However, I do protein bars and protein shakes today, which is not like a GNC version. I do like a cheaper version, which is like the Walmart version, because even when I did the GNC version, all I saw was I was just gaining weight. For a while I was doing MetRx, and that put on a lot of weight too. So in the picture, if you guys see on my Facebook page, the picture that I have on the left, when I was 200 pounds, that's when I was doing MetRx shakes, and it put more heavy weight on me than it did muscle. And being around the people I was around made me think that I was getting muscle when the actuality it was fat. So if I'm gaining muscle, I should have been able to see some abs versus a muffin top forming, if that makes sense to you, Cousin Patricia. So protein shakes, yes. Protein bars, yes. Supplements, no. Vitamins, no.
No.
And etc. No.
Nope.
No.
I have tried some protein shakes, but I didn't like them, so I don't drink them.
I will say protein shakes have gotten better this day and age compared to what they used to taste. So if you guys are trying to supplement with protein shakes, there are some good ones out there. They have, what's the one, the lean, the one that Bill Phillips has.
Yeah, that one we got at Walmart too. I think it was lean shakes or
Lean Advantage.
Maybe.
Yeah, Lean Advantage. The Lean Advantage shakes, those are good for people who are on a diet.
Just the double chocolate or something. The other ones were not good.
Yeah, and also, obviously there's a difference between men and women. So even though we did a lot of stuff that was similar, I still had to recognize that she was a woman. So women's hormones and women don't have as much testosterone as a guy. So you guys have to be a little bit more selective than a guy would have to be in terms of grabbing protein shakes off the shelf and how much you consume, and protein bars off the shake and how much you consume. So so if you're going to go the route of like supplementing your meals, if you choose to do intermittent fasting and you want to supplement your meals during that window, then you have to kind of start looking at like how much you're consuming. And the thing about the protein bars and the protein shakes is they tell you exactly how many calories is on there. So if you're a calorie counter, then that helps. So if you have like a 400 calorie protein bar, if you chop it in half, you're at 200 calories. If you have a 100 calorie protein shake, well, if you drink half of it, you're at 50 calories.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it goes back to the numbers game that I mentioned earlier. So again, we don't do fad diets. Fad diets are not sustainable. I know there's a lot of people that I talk to that, for whatever reason, they try to fight the intermittent fasting route, and they want to start doing other types of diets. They want to do the keto diet. They want to do the South Beach diet. They want to find out about this thing and the other thing, which seems like it might be the latest shiny object. But I mean, the reality is, like I said, I was doing intermittent fasting in high school by accident, and then we started doing intermittent fasting again down here by accident. Mm-hmm. Because her niece came down to visit for a week, and we were just like, well, we know we're getting ready to go on vacation in a couple months, so we gotta start not eating as much. So we chopped out that breakfast meal, and we stepped on the scale a week later, and we were just like, what happened? I mean, it was like the best results from that week of not working out and just skipping breakfast compared to all the other times that we were working out and trying to get results. So that the intermittent fasting came by accident, and it definitely has done wonders in terms of what you guys see on me when I'm posting on Facebook. There was a time that I was embarrassed to take my shirt off, even though stripping was on the horizon for me. But I was, I would go to the beach and I was embarrassed to take my shirt off, and people just say, "Oh, you look good." But I didn't believe the hype, and that's another thing is, I think a lot of things changed when we left Connecticut, where our family was, and we moved down here and we're by ourselves, because they say surround yourself with like-minded people. Well, in this case, we only had ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we were our own like minds, or even if I came down here without her, I would be my own like mind, which means that me, myself, and I are my only friends, and as long as we're all on the same page, then that's the results that we end up getting in the end.
So I just do your research. If you have any questions, you can let us know. There's a lot of things, a lot of articles out there about women doing intermittent fasting and how it can affect your hormones, and it's not good for us to do it every day. But for the most part, I mean, I do it Monday through Friday. Saturday is kind of like our cheat day. Sunday we probably still eat within a certain time period, but we aren't as strict.
We're not as strict
as with our meals. But I can tell you that I didn't have any problems with my hormones. I think because I cut out the sugar, I cut out a lot of the carbs, the salty potato chips and stuff, which is kind of what they say messes with our hormones, because we're craving that stuff, and when you're having it, it can make your time of the month worse. So there's a lot of articles out there, there's a lot of research, you can read up on it. We're not physicians, right? We're just telling you that it worked for us and how it worked for us.
But we can be consultants. If you guys want to consult, you guys are more than welcome to private message us and ask any questions that you have. If you have any questions now, we'll be glad to answer it. But I can tell you, I've worked with a couple friends of mine who are close, and they got decent results from doing what we're talking about, as well as the results that we got on our own. So, I'm pretty sure that they would attest to what we're saying is pretty much factual as well. So it's no secret. So we're sharing this because there's no secret. The thing about the internet is there's no more secrets, right? So you do your research, you will find, you look at the HIIT cardio, you look at the intermittent fasting, you will find that those are the magic pills for weight loss. And one thing too that I noticed since doing it is when I get my blood work done, sometimes I have to get my blood work done twice because the numbers of my blood work, the doctors can't believe it. They said, well, that can't be true because it's too close to perfect. And I'm just like, they're like, what are you eating or what don't you eat? And I'm telling them, like, for the most part, I kind of eat what I want. And they're just like, well, there's no way and you can have these numbers. It's the same thing when you get your blood pressure taken and your heart rate at rest, especially when you're doing the HIIT cardio. You can get some wonderful numbers when you're doing HIIT cardio and you're going to the doctor, and they will be impressive. And again, HIIT cardio is done within 10 to 15 minutes and you're done, and you're finished. So
yep, I can attest to that. Did we say hi to Ruby? I don't remember. Hi, Ruby.
Hey, Ruby. Hey, Andres. So if you guys have any questions, you can throw it into the box. Yes, Patricia, Walmart is the place to go. Walmart sells more stuff than what people know if you go into their website. I think you can buy a house on Walmart. If you Google it. Andres, how you doing? How's everything going out in the Chi-Town? So if you guys have any questions, again, feel free to inbox us. We appreciate you guys joining us. We love you guys. Have a great night.
Yep, thank you. If you have any questions, let us know. Any topics?
Yes, any topics. And I think the next topic is I'm going to delve more into real estate. Somebody asked for us to do a video on real estate. So I'm going to go more into that so they can so I can answer any questions that they have. All right, so you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time.